Good morning, Digit fam, and welcome to another Friday edition of the Digit Daily. The weekend beckons, so let's stop rambling and get right into it, shall we? It is February 15th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. MWC is one of the biggest mobile trade shows of the year, and if I'm being totally honest, it hasn't really been all the hotness for the last couple of years. But that will all change this year because MWC is shaping up to be a pretty big deal, and Android Authority is breaking down why MWC is going to be huge this year, and spoiler alert, this is a pretty hot topic over on the Android Authority podcast that will be publishing later today, link in the show notes. I think you might be familiar with some of the hosts' work, just saying. So what's up, MWC? What you got going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on, or I'd be very bad at my job. MWC will feature the first wave of foldable phones. Granted, we've already seen one foldable phone from Royal, but now we're looking at a full wave. We're looking at Huawei, Samsung, Xiaomi, at least. Though of those folding phones, how many will be announcements and how many will be prototype previews, we're not sure just yet. Remember when LG was supposed to unveil a folder at CES? Yeah, I'm not sure LG remembers that either. They've been curiously silent since before the holidays, and that's never a good sign. 5G will hit the floor in a real way. Qualcomm and OnePlus are teaming up for a little 5G demo over at the Qualcomm booth, so at the very least we'll see a OnePlus 5G prototype. Other 5G phones we'll likely hear about will be coming from Samsung and Huawei. In Huawei's case, we expect the foldable phone to also have 5G, which we're positive won't skyrocket the price, except it will. And just before the event, we'll see Samsung unpack its latest flagship, the Galaxy S10. And of course, Samsung's annoying little cousin who keeps poking his head in at family parties, LG, will be there showing off the LG G8, whose phone screen will also be a loudspeaker and will come with a quad DAC headphone jack. Nokia will unveil what could be called its first real flagship Android smartphone with the Nokia 9 PureView. This camera will give tripophobes the shivers as it sports more than a half dozen camera and flash holes on the back of it. Flash holes. Xiaomi will be there with the Mi 9, even though it's releasing the phone on the same day as the Galaxy S10, which we discussed previously, and yes, it's still a terrible idea. We'll see a new Sony phone with a very tall forehead, because apparently Sony hasn't realized it's no longer 2016. Oppo will be there showing off new 10x hybrid optical zoom technology. It's going to be packed full of jam, as Vala Maldoran would say. Personally, I have to say I'm looking forward to the show more than most just because of all the new stuff we're getting. I really hope it doesn't disappoint. I sure do wish I was going, but alas, I'll be stateside throughout the show, bringing you all the goodies on the daily. But for now, let's head into the roundup! We talked about Samsung before, and we've seen some silly leaks of devices before, but this one is probably in the top 10. Samsung accidentally, or not so accidentally, leaked 3 of its upcoming wearables in its own app. The Samsung Galaxy Wearable app showed off 3 new devices that you could connect to, even though they don't exist yet. In the app, we saw a new Galaxy Watch Active, Galaxy Buds, and Galaxy Fit. And yes, I'm always going to say Galaxy Buds. We've seen leaks for the Watch and for the Buds before, and the Galaxy Fit is a line of fitness trackers that goes back a ways, but I find it hilarious that someone must have pushed the wrong button back at headquarters. Yeah, okay, you're fired. Remember when Amazon said it was going to go with the radical decision to split its new headquarters into 2 headquarters, one in Virginia and one in New York? Well, Jeff Bezos said LOL JK and canceled plans for the New York office, and Bloomberg breaks down how everything, broke down. Long story short, New Yorkers weren't thrilled at the prospect of, a bunch of new buildings and jobs. A helipad on top of one of the buildings seems short-sighted to me, but what do you expect from a city that still hasn't figured out how to pick up garbage after 200 years? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be rich? I think we all have a decent idea of what it's like, but there's one part of being rich that never occurred to me. Negotiating billion-dollar fines. The FTC is currently in negotiations with Facebook over how much of a fine Facebook will incur due to its privacy violations, and Facebook is participating in this negotiation. Okay, so picture this. You get a speeding ticket, and the cop says, "That's gonna cost you $200, and you're like, I don't know, $50 seems more fair. Blam! Baton to the head. You see, in my world, and in the world where most people live, when you get a fine, you just get the fine and then you pay the fine, unless I've been doing things wrong this entire time. And speaking of Facebook, the company maintains a be on the lookout list that basically makes someone persona non grata on company property. What gets you added to this list is varied and seemingly subjective. I kind of hope I'm on it, actually. But things that will actually get you on the list are threats against the company or its personnel, getting fired by the company. Some people have actually been added to the list because they're stupid enough to criticize Facebook or Mark Zuckerberg or Sheryl Sandberg on Facebook. But folks, listen, just do what I did. Start a podcast. According to Newsweek, Russian agents may have promoted anti-vaccination propaganda which may have led to the measles outbreak, which is really good news. I was worried that Americans were stupid enough to believe anti-vaccine bullshit, and it turns out it was just the Russians. Of course, then Americans had to believe the anti-vaccine bullshit that the Russians were pushing and then keep their kids from being vaccinated, and yep, Americans are stupid. Never mind, nothing to see here, except a bunch of stupid Americans. And finally, my headline of the week clearly and unequivocally goes to PC Gamer, who wrote, quote, Ubisoft reports strong profits, doesn't fire 800 people. This is a shot at Activision Blizzard Entertainment, who reported a record year on 2018 and then went ahead and laid off 800 people anyway. And this was after they had already screwed up Warcraft 2 by releasing Heroes and Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft, and I hate Blizzard! So good on you, Ubisoft. F*** off, Blizzard. So that is going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on Digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast player. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again on Monday.